Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Motherfucker.
We're going to clap. We're going to start the show.
What episode is it?
81.
Oh, we're recording?
Okay. Yeah, we've been recording, man.
Did not realize.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ghouls of all ages, this is episode 81, Flyover State of Film, and, teasers and leads. So you guys are in for it again for, I couldn't even tell you how many times we've done this. Divided by 4, 81, I don't do math. I got my boys here as usual, Brian, Yusuf, Joe. What is going on, fellas?
Everybody has done 20 episodes.
Yeah.
That's not hard math, actually. Yeah, it's not hard math.
We're 80.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. How are you?
We're good. We're good. We're doing well.
TJ, thanks. TJ went first, and now he's going again, so he's obviously done more than me. Your math doesn't hold up, Yusuf.
This is 21, so.
This is also, technically the live episode was, my episode, but, was it?
That's true, exactly, yeah.
And with
also, one of my episodes everybody loved so much, they burned it out of the internet.
Right, it was so controversial, it got banned.
What was it called again?
City Slickers?
Oh, I watched
that was a good one. We revealed some secrets.
That's right, that's why it had to get taken down. Q came out and canceled us.
Yeah, it had a secret fifth host. Guys will never meet him.
It was our one guest.
Killed him at the end, so that's why he can't come back.
Can we just take a moment? It's kind of impressive. We've done 81 episodes, the four of us, and have never had a guest, a replacement. We need to get this out. We just waited. It's pretty impressive.
I think so. We're committed. We respect the game. That's a callback to people who used to watch the show 2 years ago.
Respect the game.
Oh, I got this beer. So clearly this is going to be the episode where we're going to become famous. And if we become famous, I want this beer to sponsor me. It's called Montucky Cold Snack. It's literally the best beer I've ever had in my life.
Is that a callback to when we used to all crack a beer? And
yeah.
I mean, used to.
Well, I have a high noon. I hope the Nooners get a little bigger and sponsor a little.
Well, if we're talking sponsors, Blue Chew hit me up. I've been having mad ED lately. Other than that,
hymns.
What's the fucking news, Yusuf?
Yeah, I don't know one of the things of the news.
Oh yeah, Patty Jenkins, because one of the top.
That's the Jenkins you were talking about. Richard figure it out. I was like, Richard Jenkins, did he get canceled?
No,
I just watched Kajillionaire, and I'm like, don't cancel Richard Jenkins. He's a treasure.
Patty Jenkins gave us like an alley-oop almost because we're talking.
Oh yeah, that's the world's easiest joke.
Yeah, but yeah, she said that that movies that are made for TV or for streaming are not real movies, and that they don't exist in her head because nobody talks about them, as if none of them have been nominated for Oscars and won over her own shitty movies. But that's besides.
Or that her movie got released to streaming, or and that it was worse than most of the streaming movies I've watched. Even movies I didn't like that Chris Hemsworth one. Yeah, Extraction was better than Wonder Woman 84.
Wonder Woman 84 was. I forgot how bad Wonder Woman 84 was till this discourse happened online.
It's like she reminded everyone how bad it sucked, and plus this was a double-edged sword. I didn't realize. I'm just like, haha, that's funny. People are gonna be making fun of her. Then I went into some of the comments, and it's like half that and half Snyder Boys being like, she should be taken off Wonder Woman 3 and it should be given back to Zack to produce and pick the director. No. I was like, I didn't even think of that, but they like latched right on as a reason to be like, hey, we're misogynists.
This discourse was going on, and like then I turned on the TV and a commercial is like Wonder Woman 84 set and like Serena Williams doing a thing, and I'm like,
that's who should have been Wonder Woman. That would have been rad.
It'd be great. As long as a Wonder Woman or any superhero was never Ronda Rousey, I would have been fine.
Then we wouldn't have a Wonder Woman who's like a war criminal. I don't know. Whatever. It's cool. I don't want to get political on here.
I mean, listen. But that's pretty ballsy of Wonder Woman. I mean,
is that the war crime that you're talking about, Brian?
No, that's the other one.
That's
worse.
It's
that's
so
a crime against humanity.
It's so egregious, though, of Patty Jenkins, though, to just declare that, because it's not 5 years ago. It's like you've had The Irishman come out and Roma.
No, think about like that Five Bloods. Like that movie was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
it was legit amazing.
I just like
Spike Lee is like world renowned. He's like running cans and he's like doing So he's not in your mind. Like he's
you don't think about Spike Lee or Martin Scorsese. They don't register for you now. It cracked me up. I was just like, I'm just glad to see the representation of a female director saying something stupid like this. Yeah. All the time, old men are coming out and like putting their ass out for.
Yeah, but doesn't Lexi Alexander put her fucking foot in her mouth all the time?
Yeah, that's kind of her bit.
That's like
but she's like a little more politically minded.
She does the political driven
and hasn't.
Yeah, hers is less like I don't see her ragging on the film. I don't see her getting dragged.
She liked something of mine a couple years ago, followed me, and then at some point unfollowed me, and it makes complete sense.
And I totally get it.
But
we watched Warzone. If you guys want to go watch that episode,
that was a great
film.
That's cinema. Patty Jenkins should take some notes on Punisher. Warzone. That's what I'd like to see.
Even Green Street Hooligans is a good movie. I love that shit. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it.
That's the first movie, right?
Got anything else? Any other news? What else?
Yeah, the other ones is like everything's getting delayed. Venom, the Mission Impossibles. The one that really hurt.
They're gonna close the schools again, and kids are all gonna be at home again, and people are gonna be. It's gonna lock down again. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, but
let it happen after September. The end of September. Let's like October 1st.
Yeah,
let's just all put our horse enemas on and go to the wedding.
And get yourself some horse paste.
Yeah. Just snort some horse pills. But yeah, the one that really hurt is a Jackass, man. I was honestly very happy.
Right? Now it's in February.
Yeah.
I actually just think it's like also look where the movies got delayed to. It's not as far out as they were. I think studios were
that's kind of what happened in the beginning, though, Joe. Like,
forget that it was like stepped out.
But I think studios
like 5 different release dates for James Bond.
But I think studios are strategically saying, okay, we were like, look at like the day Jackass was going to come out. Like it was stacked of things that should be number one at the box office. I think it was.
Everything's but it's been backed up for a while, so every weekend it's got releases.
I think I had to see a movie in theaters, it'd be Jackass 4. I feel like that's like not anything epic or like action. Just
I went to the theater to see Candyman. You know, we're in a different. You know, we're not in a big city. Things aren't crazy here. I
want to see Candyman.
You know, two of us had vaccinations. You know, my son wears his mask. It's like, you know, living my life.
But I that's my more think of it. I think there is COVID concern, but at the same time, if there wasn't like the Jackass, it had Jackass, John Wick 4, and The Matrix all supposed to come out on that date. I think
John Wick 4 and The Matrix are coming out the same weekend.
I believe they were. I believe they originally were, and I'm pretty sure they moved them to be like, well,
happy birthday, Keanu Reeves today.
Yeah,
shout out the King.
Yeah, Keanu. Check out the episode of the Keanuversary.
Yeah,
that's my.
Hit me up back, Keanu. It's been a while since we texted.
You texted him?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my theory. Is like they're just using COVID to get a better release date because they could say like, look at this big movie coming out in February.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna go see it anyway.
But I mean, James Bond is definitely. You know, Daniel Craig is definitely just like. Thank God I don't have to gear up for another press tour. They're just gonna drop to not die another day. No Time to Die, and then I'm done. They're not gonna call me again. That man has had to strap up for 3 different release dates already.
Are you guys gonna see the new Shang-Chi?
Yeah, I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, I gotta see that in Candy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the theater and see it. Probably on Labor Day.
Oh, okay.
No.
No, you don't want to watch it?
No.
Why?
That's
Any
racist.
content you want to squeeze out of this, or do you just want to move on?
You really want me to say it, don't you? You want me to
Yeah,
say it?
because you're racist.
I'll say it. Dude, I'll say it. I don't care. I'll say it. I don't know who the fuck the character is.
So?
Yeah,
I don't want to see it. I don't care.
You learn about the character, man.
Yeah, that's more exciting than knowing who the character is. I hear you bitching about Spider-Man on Twitter every he is.
See, we got content.
Maybe you learn about a character who you don't know.
No, I don't care. No.
Okay.
So you're tired of 5 Batmans, 6 Spider-Mans, 20 Supermans, and when the first time a new character comes along, you're like, I don't know that character.
Speaking of, I know nothing about the character, and I'm ready to learn. But speaking of,
I know that he has very racist origins, so that was
speaking
fun.
of Batmans, though, there was some news there. Could the critics and people just stop with the early screenings of I gasped and got up? It's like nothing we've ever seen before. Oh my god!
Yeah. Well, yeah. Didn't somewhere they screen the full Ghostbusters movie? Someone
was like,
"I've always wanted."
Oh no, it was Josh Gad wrote, "I cried during it." It's like the old Ghostbusters, and it's like, when did
I didn't cry during Ghostbusters? What are you talking about?
There's no moment in any of the Ghostbusters. You know what's good here? The feels.
Yeah. Yeah. That's.
When they're in the Statue of Liberty up top, it's pretty good. But even in that last moment when they're about to cross the streams and they have just see you on the other side, Ray.
But it's not sweet. Sentimental. It's not like a coming of age story.
It's not Spielbergian.
Yeah.
Did you cry when the ghost gave him a blowjob?
I became a man.
I moaned.
What the fuck, Joe?
Hey, Joe, you want to do your topic?
Yeah, so we've kept you in suspense this whole time. So the other week, I don't think we've actually ever covered this topic, but I was wondering, what's the most suspenseful sequence in a movie?
You fucking literally texted it during the show. We were
it just came to me.
Show.
What did we just do last week or last episode? Where I talked about T2.
That's what inspired it.
It was an action sequence.
But that's what inspired it.
Action sequence.
Oh, this is just
suspenseful.
This is suspenseful.
Okay,
that's fair.
You know what? Let's go Brian first with your most suspenseful. Give TJ some time. We'll loop back to you.
What do you mean? I
wrote down a couple. I got a couple.
Yeah, I got a couple written down.
First one that came to my mind. This is why I wrote a couple, because I figured someone would steal it. But since I'm going first, I'll take it. Is Signs, when they're watching the news and they're holding, and then the alien walks across. Oh, that's a great one. I love that one.
That's a good one.
I love Zodiac, specifically the scene with somebody who's going to come up later, Charles Fleischer, when they're down in the basement. They're going
I have that written down.
Hell of a callback, man. I did not even think that was him for a second.
I'll save my third one and let everybody go.
Talk about the basement scene real quick, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's the footsteps above him.
It's just so, because it's the scariest scene in the movie, and it's the same thing. Nothing happens, but everything happens, and it sums up the paranoia that Robert Graysmith's going through at the time, and also just the desperation of going down into a creepy basement. And I don't know, it's the perfect tension scene. It wasn't my first one.
Essentially the same rabbit hole he's going down. That basement just kind of double down on Zodiac. This isn't my answer, but even the scene at the lake, one of the first murders you see, where he ties him up, they're all talking. That's one of the most visceral, just heart in your throat type of moments for me. I'm just it's sick, but also you're just fucking. Because you don't know. What you say?
What I like about the basement one is that the dude is not even trying to play coy. He is upfront. He's very clearly trying to fuck with Jake.
Yeah.
He's not even acting maybe I'll do something down. He's come downstairs. Like,
Yeah.
I was the one that made the posters.
Yeah.
He wasn't
Absolutely.
the one that made it.
And as far as that scene in Signs, I mean, I know that movie, it's got mixed, but I actually think that like the tension and suspense in the whole movie really holds up very well. But that scene, I guess it would also go on my list of jump scares. Like it's so perfectly timed, and it's like held for the perfect amount.
You remove a couple lines of corny lines of dialogue in Signs, and people regard it much better. And it's just you erase Shyamalan's name and a few lines of dialogue, like the swing away, and people regard it better.
I mean, I don't want to get into science here, but there's also the whole theory that it's not really aliens, it's demons, and that's holy water, and that's why it hurts him. It doesn't have to do with, it's because he gets his faith back, and the girl has left these like glasses all around, and it's, I don't know, that's just a thing that's been bandied about.
Well,
sounds like people trying to apologize that shit is script.
I actually, like I said, no defenders. I enjoy that movie, even with the weird, water ending. Shyamalan's just got a thing with water. He's like obsessed with it. So
yeah,
laid in the water.
Breaks his old laid in the water. Even old has,
I still gotta see that.
I haven't seen it. I picked a couple. One is fun, but it was very tense as a kid. Now it's just a great sequence. That's the Jurassic Park kitchen scene where the velociraptors are trying to get the kids.
You mean the scene in Godzilla when they're in the state in MSG?
I would say.
Oh yes.
I would say also the scene with the kids in the car where they got the flashlight and the T-Rex is coming over. That build is very tension, very suspenseful, very tension.
Oh, with the water
the
drops.
Car, the window breaking. The three that I really love is, and I'm gonna leave one just in case somebody else has it. The Inglourious Basterds, both the opening sequence and the bar sequence are like
that.
Work of arts of tension, especially the bar sequence because you're in on the opening sequence you're kind of lost of who these characters are, and it takes a while for them to reveal that they are actually down there. But it's still amazing. But the bar sequence, you're in on the plan. You know that these are the good guys, and that anything can go wrong, and they're like in enemy territory. So yeah, it's a fantastic sequence. And the dude like keeps asking and keeps playing, and you're like, can he just fuck off already? And the other one is the No Country for Old Men with the coin. Call it.
Oh yeah.
So good.
What time do you guys close? Oh, right around this time. It's like, what?
Call it.
Call it.
What about you, Joe? What you got?
Everything.
Cool. Yeah. So I did write down the Misery, the Zodiac, but the other one is the scene in Misery of him having to when she goes out, when Annie Wilkes goes out to the store, and he's like, "I'm gonna go fuck around," and finds the book, and then him trying to get back to the bed.
Yeah,
and her coming through, jiggling the door. And
that's a really good one.
And it's long, but like you're panicked because he just.
And also, he's really good at playing the pain of like he's still in a lot of pain from it. And so like it's really everything he's doing is difficult for him, and he's like sweating. Yeah.
Because I looked up like suspenseful scenes, and that wasn't listed. The hobbling scene was listed. I'm like,
I looked up a list, but it actually all it did was help me think of one. I would see something on the list, and then it would make me think of one that I thought like. So, yeah, but I did also. Yeah,
it helped me think of that scene a lot. And then the other one that I wrote down that wasn't is the Blair Witch basement scene, which in a found footage suspense done right just is terrifying.
Oh, you mean the final sequence?
The final sequence.
The guy against the wall.
That, and then just thinking of it now, about found footage, the first Paranormal Activity, though, just kind of the whole movie of its suspense.
Well, so if it like Blair Witch, like it has the scenes like in the tent with the little hands are like hitting on the side, stuff like that. But Paranormal Activity, I'm going to argue that one. If you rewatch that...
I think Joe's alone on this one. We're all like, did he just say Paranormal Activity?
It's like one of those things, if you watch it, you realize you're staying there for hours just to see a door go like this.
Yeah.
Or like something weird.
The first 3 Paranormal Activity movies you could have cut down into one watchable movie.
I like the 5th one, I think it was.
The 3rd, with the little girls back in the 80s, is legit. I think that's legit scary.
I like the
one. I think that was like the last one I watched. I was like, yeah, I think I'm out on this franchise.
It's a bad franchise. I think I think we're getting 2 like in a year or something like that too. Like a documentary about it, and then like a reboot.
TJ, have you gone yet? Did you got something?
Oh, well, I got 2 off the top of my head. One's from a movie that we all love, and every time I watch this movie and this scene, it's real quick. It's nothing crazy, but the lead up is great. With Lord of the Rings Fellowship, when they first run into Aragorn, and he takes them up in the they're all together in the room, and you see the wraiths come in. And you think that they all
like position themselves over the beds and stuff.
And like even when they do it, and like Samwise eyes fling open and like shit like that whole time you're like, there's no way they're there already or something like that. That always gets me. And then as far as no one said this one, this whole movie is just like that same feeling. But at the very end of Prisoners, where like
oh my god,
runs into the old woman. And
I've never seen Prisoners actually.
Oh,
Brian. My goodness, dude.
It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
Is it on Hulu?
Yeah, check it out, man. But it's like I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah,
but
don't spoil it because
it's insane.
I think that's a movie.
The whole time. It's like no.
I think that's a movie Brian would be talking. About.
Like I'm gonna be that guy. Like I have to watch this movie, but like,
bro, it's so good.
Yeah, like
Jake Gyllenhaal, Wolverine.
Boogie Night
shows up. All those guys.
The drug sequence of Boogie Nights is
yeah. With the pop rocks,
just firecrackers and the music building.
That's
any scene like I would say like any scene where somebody is doing like an insane amount of cocaine, like the 3rd act of Goodfellas, like the way he build the tension in that whole sequence with him driving around and doing the drop offs, and you get him looking for
you gotta stir the sauce. You gotta stir the sauce so it doesn't burn.
Well, even that whole scene with the Boogie Nights, and then like Alfred Molina gets up, he's like, "Hello, Peter." Like it's so good, man. That's a great fucking part.
You saw that smoke, and he comes out.
They de-aged him, so it doesn't even look like him anymore. It's great.
Looking like a CGI John Lennon
mentality. I was gonna say he looks like B. Arthur coming out of there. So I had one more. Have any of you guys seen Wind River?
Oh, yes.
I have not.
Yeah. There's a scene in Wind River. It's about I won't spoil it or anything, but like basically the premise is Native American indigenous girl found dead, and there's they're doing an investigation, and they do a flashback to like kind of what happened, and there's a scene where she's with somebody who, in my opinion, is known for playing a notorious bad guy. Like I remember watching the movie the first time and being like, "Oh, she's in trouble because of who she's with." And then, but what happens is like his buddies all show up drunk, and it's like kind of a situation where they all like they're doing like some kind of like work on a ranch or it's like an oil field or something. So like they all live together, kind of dorm style, and you're not really so like there's no real privacy or anything. And they were all out, and they all come back, and you can just tell something bad is gonna happen. The way it's just very uncomfortable, intense, and plus you at this point already know. I mean, the movie starts with the girl being dead, so like you're about to see what happened, and like the way it's just a very uncomfortable scene, the way they react to her and stuff, and But that was a good one. I was trying to think of something like recent that maybe people hadn't seen.
Ooh. That one has a great ending. The writer of that one is the same writer of Sicario, and that one and another. What's the other one that he wrote?
Gone on to direct some.
You did Hell or High Water.
Semi right wing propaganda movies.
But the one that I want to
Taylor something is that?
Taylor. He has a series with Kevin Costner called Yellowstone, I think it is.
Supposedly that's really.
Is that
good.
him too? Yeah, that looks like colonizer porn. Every time I see a preview for that episode, that show, I was like, it looks like a whole show about how white people are rightfully hanging on to land that native people want back. Like,
my older black coworker.
Why they gotta be black?
It to me, so it can't be. She's black, so
yeah, they love that shit.
Whoa. Jesus.
TV movies, huh? Or TV performances.
Yeah, well, this was my topic. I couldn't remember if we talked about TV shows that got turned into movies, or maybe movies that got turned into TV shows.
We can ask Ryan. He has all the topics.
Yeah, well, he's very busy. So I thought that we could also open it up to, if you guys want to talk about a specific performance, or if you got worst, if you want to do worst instead of bests. I was going to kind of let it be loose in case we're treading ground here that we've. But I think maybe we did it the other way, where we did movies that became TV shows, like Fargo. I don't know.
You're just changing the topic on me.
I think
finally get it right.
No, it's TV shows that became movies, and that's the topic. Unless you want to say something else.
Okay,
Yusef, go ahead.
Cinema Verite. James Gandolfini, Laurel Dern, Tim Robbins. It's an HBO movie. It's okay. It's fine. But I was trying to pick a movie that I like that I've probably never talked about in this movie.
Then talk about what is it then?
Yeah, Cinema Verite. It's a movie about two filmmakers wanting to create It's based in the 70s, and it's kind of like a documentary, but of real life. So it's James Gandolfini and Laura Dern, I think it is, or Diane Lane, probably one of those two.
So it was
and they basically
show?
invade.
It's a movie.
No, it's a movie. It's a TV movie.
Oh, okay. It's
made for TV movie. Yeah.
Oh, that's a totally different thing. Now we've got a third. Something else is entering the
chat. All right, Joe.
What's your interpretation? I went straight. Yeah, I went straight made for TV movies.
Yeah, that's what I understood.
I thought we were doing TV shows that were made into movies, like Tales from the Crypt.
You fucked up, bro. You made it too wide open.
But these Tales from the Crypt movies were made for TV Saturday night, like a special.
Yeah, no, they were. No, they weren't. They were 45
the actual releases.
Holy shit!
Tales from the Crypt was a TV show. It was like watching an episode of Law and Order.
Yeah.
We've lost.
And then these movies were released in theaters. They were movies.
You know what's a good answer?
Spun off from a TV show. I thought the topic was.
Batman. Go ahead, Joe. Do you have an answer for that question, and then we'll think about something else?
Yeah, Batman, the Mask of the Phantom.
Overrated Batman. Fucking.
No, shut up.
21 Jump Street. There you go. 21 Jump Street.
I wrote 21 Jump Street down because that is the best TV.
Yusef, people can Google it themselves. They want your insight.
Yeah, we're not just saying.
They can see the Screen Rant list that you're reading if they want to.
I like James Gandolfini's quiet performance. Like, he usually plays like this huge dude, the brute, or kind of like the dumb fun guy. But in this one, he's just trying to make it in Hollywood, and
hasn't he only been in like
this dumb idea of making a documentary about her life, her family life, and then Tim Robbins is the husband, and the stress of the cameras always being there kind of breaks up the marriage. It's pretty cool drama.
Is this the one where he gets accused of murdering her, has to go to jail for a while? Oh, different.
No, but that's a great answer for the real question, TJ. You want to talk about it?
No, I'm going to talk about the movies that I picked. Night of the Twisters, great book from back in the day. Devon Sawa starred. I can't think of anyone else that was in that. Maybe
fuck Devon Sawa.
Oh,
sure,
damn.
I don't care. Great in Casper though.
He's going to be in Child's Play too.
I'm kidding. He seems like a nice guy. He was in The Fanatic.
Was he?
His finest hour. He's in Idle Hands.
Idle Hands, yeah.
Yeah, because he was Stan in the music video Stan, so the cast of him has The Fanatic and The Fanatic. It's meta. Fred Durst directed it.
Was The Mask a made-for-TV movie?
No, that was a
Mask with Eric Stoltz.
Yeah,
that was
I think that's a real movie.
TJ, you're thinking of Freak the Mighty, that was just called The Mighty.
No, I was thinking about the guy with
Sharon Stone as the mother. It was a book I read in middle school. It's called The Mighty.
You're thinking about Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Oh no!
Lost the thread.
This episode just got off the rails.
This is the worst. All right, well, I'll answer the fake question about TV movies. I really like The Stand. I still think it holds up pretty good. It's got a great cast. It's a lot of fun. MOON, that spells moon. So Stephen King's The Stand was a 6-parter. Big fan of that one. And as far as the question I actually asked, obviously a TJ name drop, kind of teased The Fugitive. Classic. It's got Harrison Ford in it.
What was the question again?
Favorite movie based on a TV show.
This is the worst segment in our fucking podcast.
This is the worst segment in the history of this podcast.
It's true. It's true. It's really bad, guys.
You know that Eric Stoltz had a brother? Eric Stiltz, and he was really tall.
All right. Well, 81 episodes strong.
No, we've done it. We finally killed it.
No.
Why hasn't this podcast taken off?
I can't believe why people don't love this. This seems amazing.
There's some good.
Does The Sopranos count then? Because that fucking stupid movie that's coming out that I do want to see.
You haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it counts as you can say you want to see it. It's
okay. I want to see
Camino from Breaking Bad. That was pretty good.
Did anybody watch that? I didn't watch that.
Yeah, it was good.
I liked it.
It was good.
I still can't get through that show.
It was an epilogue.
I liked the show, but it's one of those things. I feel the way about Breaking Bad, like everybody did about Game of Thrones, where I just kind of like it ended, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty much done with that forever. Like I just don't really care to go back to it or anything.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever revisited it. No, that's not true. I watched it with the wife, and she kind of got over it too.
I mean, there's Freddy's Nightmares.
Yeah, sure, Freddy's Nightmares is
a nightmare. Say it right.
I mean, that's a TV show based on movie, but sure, okay, right on.
Well, I'm more in line than some of these.
Brian,
other
just take it.
60.
Just
a good
TV.
A good TV movie though.
He's answering.
Movie. 61.
Ooh,
we've talked about that recently.
61 is good.
Guys, I got one.
Rewatched it, holds up, except for the CGI background of the stadium when anytime they hit a home run.
2 different versions of a show. Mine was my favorite was from the early '90s. I think it only had like 1 fucking season.
My favorite Martian.
No, but the other one was in the '70s, I think it was. But I love this movie, which kind of blends both of them. But Land of the Lost with Will Ferrell and Danny.
That's a funny movie.
I never saw that one.
It's like one of those ones that you can throw on a Saturday morning.
Which one did you say?
Land of the Lost. It's like Will Ferrell, Danny McBride, and
came out right at the same time. Like I want to say that came out right around the same time as the Journey to the Center of the Earth movie with Brendan Fraser. And I think they kind of. I don't think I ever saw either of them, but I think it kind of got jumbled up in my mind.
And when he did Bewitched.
Like
yeah, it's around that time, yeah.
But it's the same. It's like the same feel, like
Bewitched, Starsky and Hutch, and Ships. All those were like.
How about this? Right? Leave It to Beaver.
I remember that. I went to the theater.
Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, Dennis the Menace. Yeah. Shit. Actually, we could have had this as a topic. Good one, Brian. Hell yeah.
Damn, it's almost like this would have made a decent topic.
Wait, can we go back? Dennis the Menace was huge in my household.
Yeah, it was.
Mr. Wilson Wolf.
It was a big summer movie.
Walter Matthau.
Now that we're doing the topic, how about the Addams Family and Addams Family Values? Those movies kick ass.
Yeah, it's a good topic, Brian. I wrote down real answers for the topic.
I wish you had this topic from the start, Brian, not the bullshit that you did in the beginning.
Is Rob Zombie doing?
You're the one who told me we had done this topic already, and so I abandoned it for favor of a more open topic. And then you didn't do that either.
Wait. Actually,
you know what? I want to say something.
Is Rob Zombie doing
Monsters? You showed this up real good.
Well,
I used to make fun.
Show or movie?
Wait. I used to make fun of actors or like comedians or whatever that were asked stuff, and they were like, I don't even remember doing that. And I would be like, oh, you're so fucking pretentious. How could you not remember taping a show or making a movie? I can't remember what we said in the last episode.
I never remember.
Like the entire fucking thing.
Back to Dennis the Menace. Does anyone else ever remember, though, the chicken that he paints it? Didn't that chicken look so distinct and you eat it and you're like, oh, I kind of want to eat that paint like that.
Yeah, it also looked really good.
This is where it comes in that like I'm a little bit older than everybody because like I was just a little too old for the Billy.
Yeah, he was with his first family.
Okay, Kat.
There's some good.
That
was some good Christopher Lloyd heavy prosthetics too, where I was like, that's not Back to the Future guy.
Kind of looked like the Crypt Keeper.
I think we reached the end of this topic, right? We good?
I did have one more thing when I thought we might be talking about performances. I wanted to mention Jim Varney as Jed Clampett from Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh,
it's not a great movie, but he's so good, right? Like
the lady's in that one.
You know what? Shout out
Erika
to
Eleniak. Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to the Brady Bunch parody movies.
Ooh,
those are really fun.
I have to rewatch those. I remember watching it as a kid and not getting it.
Watched about 2 years ago. A lot of jokes go over your head as like the same, but it is very.
As long as you have a kind of general idea of what the vibe of the Brady Bunch was, it can be pretty fun.
It's very SNL 90s.
Get out! This is a Jack. Hey,
Speaking
Jack.
of SNL, I had a couple SNL movies because they're based on TV shows too.
You're a big
Wayne's
It's Pat
World,
fan.
Superstar, Blues Brothers,
Night at the Roxbury.
To a lesser extent.
Hey, it's Pat, or it's me, Pat.
Oh. Stuart Saves His Family. Now we're just naming things.
The Mr. Bill compilation I used to rent from the video
I
store.
had a Mr. Bill compilation tape. I had
it's a tape.
VHS tape with Mr. Bill.
Well, and the Mr. Bean movies count then too, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
It was a British TV show.
He puts the turkey on his head.
Yeah.
Stays at the family's house.
Yep.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's good.
He didn't say a single word. Yet I laughed my ass off.
Genius.
Great topic, Brian. That was good, dude.
Yeah, great topic, man.
We really saved
First segment ever. We really pulled it out.
Cut it up. Cut it.
We were nose diving. We pulled it.
Scrap it. Cut it.
All right, so we're watching 2 movies today. Tales.
Wait, we have another topic.
Crypt, Demon
do
Knight.
his little intro, Joe. Jeez, calm down.
Oh.
Demon Knight and Bordello of Blood. Both are titles that are fucking badass and attention grabbing. So I wanted to ask the boys my topic. What are some movies that not necessarily you love, but like the title either grab your attention or you think is a cool title? Like you see it in the theater and you're like, ooh, I want to watch that movie, or makes you want to Google it at the very least as to like, what the fuck is this movie about? Brian, what's up?
I'm glad you started with me because
Everyone
this
starts with
topic
Brian.
helped me realize that like the name of a movie does not register with me as something to be excited about. Like I was trying to come up with an answer to this and I was like, I don't think about that without a trailer or a poster or something. The name itself doesn't really do that much for me, I don't think. But since we're just saying whatever on these topics, I did want to talk about a movie that I think just has a really good and interesting title, which is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I think it's based on a book, obviously, so that's fine. But it's actually kind of brave of them to keep that name for the movie because you could see a movie like that being adapted and then them changing the name to like Love Lost or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Erased.
So, yeah.
Wait, I almost want to bet it got sent to the theaters as Love Lost.
It would be awesome because I just guessed. So I know.
But it is a good title. Like it fits in the sense that if somebody says, "Have you watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?" you go like, "What is that movie about?" Because that's such a
you know what the way Brian, the way you phrase that, it reminds me of something like the title of like it's TV, but like Curb Your Enthusiasm, right? Like that's a weird name.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, like what's that about? You kind of have to think about the phrase.
Yeah.
It was like, I thought that was a good one. And then I just watched a movie that Joe accused of being an Entourage fake movie, but it didn't have Adrian Grenier as the star of Entourage. It had Adrian Brody, and it was called Bullethead.
The poster looked like one of the posters.
Oh no, I know. I was looking for a poster. They all look bad because it's like it's from 2017. It's on Netflix, so there ain't no good posters for it. But it actually had a pretty decent cast and was a fairly interesting movie, but the name was Bullethead, and that doesn't really like register in the movie in any way. There's nothing in the movie that like kind of like connects with that as far as I'm concerned that I can tell. So I just thought that was weird. It's not a terrible name, especially for a crime movie, which this is kind of a crime movie.
How was the movie?
But it didn't like register to anything that I could make a specific connection with in the movie.
How was the
movie?
Did
anybody catch a bullet to the head?
No, I don't think so.
No.
It was. I would say it was like a, especially for being on Netflix, it's probably like a 5 or a 6. It wasn't terrible. It's got a good cast. It's got a fairly interesting idea. Trigger warning: dog violence, though. Like not people necessarily like on camera hurting dogs, but a lot of like dogs getting people fighting dogs fighting other dogs.
Was it better than
Bullet?
Bullet?
Off screen, but there's still some violence and yelps and whatnot.
Was it better than Bullet to the head?
I've never seen Bullet to the head. That's a Stallone blind spot for me.
Bullet,
yeah, it should be.
I saw Bulletproof Monk in the theater, and it's not good. Yeah. America never knew what to do with Chow Yun-Fat. We fucked that up. We fucked that up, to be honest with you. Even The Replacement Killers isn't that good.
No. That's a good title, though. Replacement Killers.
It is a great title, actually. I mean, if we're just talking about cool sounding titles,
yeah,
lots of movies have cool sounding titles.
That's the topic, sir.
Well, what about movies that have titles that are that like movies you like that had titles you didn't like?
Oh, all the time.
That's probably a second topic. We should probably save that.
You should write that down. Save it. Pocket it.
Somebody text it to me.
We don't need to talk about...
Or we did it 20 episodes ago and we don't remember.
We don't need to talk about Danny Collins.
TJ, you have any picks?
I mean, if you couldn't tell, I couldn't divide 4 by 80, or whatever the fuck it was. So, I mean, like for me, growing up, we didn't have the internet yet until 2000. So it was like a lot of newspaper clippings and walking through a theater, like Brian said, and seeing like, you know. But for me, there's nothing about names for me. It was more like a Lake Placid cardboard cutout versus a giant crocodile mouth, Lake Placid in the middle. Like that's how I always got sold. Or like walking down the Blockbuster aisle hard and just being like, you know, the dentist or
Dead Alive.
Yeah, Dead Alive with those type of things.
Yeah, but like I said, not just the name. I always need some kind of visual element with it to grab me, you know.
Like if you show me it's like an animal attacking people, I'm all in all the time, every time. But like for a name, it just kind of pops in my head when we were talking about replacement killers, like natural born killers, like right off the bat, before you know that, it's like Woody and what's her face from Christmas Vacation and from
Juliette Lewis.
Thank you. Shit like that. Like if I saw that and I
was
to see that,
I can be on the show.
Like I'd be like those are the type of things like that. But for me, it's like it's never been a title or like Cloverfield is like one of those ones you're like, I wonder what that's about. And they kind of used like when the internet really started going on, do all these different like campaigns for it and stuff like that. But like I'm trying to think of like a name of a movie. Like could you imagine if you were in the 70s and Jaws, you just saw Jaws? Like that name alone, you're just like, oh well, whatever
it's intriguing.
Yeah.
I got a few. Want to drop them in here?
I mean, I
got Dirty Dancing.
I still gotta go.
What's that all about? I want to watch some Dirty Dancing.
I'm intrigued by this.
I want to watch it.
Yeah, Showgirls.
Same
kind of message.
Fatal Attraction falls in that same too.
Movies have a through line.
There's a through line. Wild Things.
Wild Things.
Yeah.
All right, we're just naming softcore porn.
We're just naming erotica now.
I have a real pick here. I have a real answer.
Yeah,
I want to say one. I want to say one more of the real one. There will be
Shrek.
No, there will be.
My mom took me to go see Shrek, and we had a nice time, and my life was not the same after.
She's a beautiful.
And then
woman.
on the way home, we stopped to get ice cream, and she told me that her and Dad were going to be living in separate houses. But I like Shrek for a totally different reason. It has nothing to do with that.
No, she would turn to me and say, "What lesson did we learn in this movie?"
Not
that pop culture references don't age as well as you might think.
No, that true beauty conquers all, Brian.
Oh, sorry, I didn't remember.
And then one time we saw Jungle to Jungle together, but I don't think we talked about the lesson in that movie either.
You shouldn't. I don't think that had a good lesson.
Tim Allen appropriates culture on the cover.
Again.
Sorry. So I do have a real answer. And it's because I could only think of one time that a title in my life was like, oh, I need to fucking watch this. It's terrible. I do not recommend the movie. I think I talked about it during our trauma episode, and it's Surf Nazis Must Die.
Title, all right, fair enough.
Saw that title, and I was like, I need to look this up. Because it was a little later. I was in like middle school, like 8th grade, so like, you know, IMDb was a thing. and then went to YouTube, watched that Grindhouse trailer. I'm like, this is going to be hysterical. It's going to be so much fun, and it's a fucking.
You bored Brian.
Well, for me, it was like
it was very boring.
Something like that. It was like, but this is back when we did still have it. We had the internet, we had IMDb, we had movies.com, but Poultrygeist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Silence of the Hams.
Yeah, like those fucking movies. I'll always look into them if I see those titles, but I know kind of almost what they're gonna be every time.
It didn't have this effect on me, but I bet like Killer Clowns from Outer Space is another movie like that. Like it's not a title like that. You're just like, all right, I gotta see what the fuck's going on.
Yeah,
Monster Squad. Yeah,
like Dog Soldiers. That happened to me with Dog Soldiers.
I have Dog Soldiers. I have the Blu-ray.
Oh wow!
I don't have the Blu-ray. I have it on DVD though.
I haven't watched it yet, but someone was talking about it. It's a Shout Factory release, and
I have the Shout Factory release like on my wish list, but I just have never replaced it.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but someone it'll be there, and actually, it's going to be a Flyover State of Fear episode. But nice. I told.
Nice that somebody's picking a first-time watch for you. That'll be an interesting episode.
That and
I'll tune in for that one.
No, titles are weird though, because I do think there's a bit of there's a graphic design word for it, but like term for it, but it's like visual symmetry. There's visual like visual symmetry basically, or something like that, where it's like, you know, you're not gonna write, if you're making a graphic, you're not gonna make like do a clock and then under it write clock. Like you could tell like that image is a clock. Like that's kind of what we do with posters, right? You see something cool like The Dead Alive, and then you read the name and you're like, that looks dope.
Yep.
So a title alone, I mean, you know, we probably could go through title after title, and like we were talking earlier, made for TV movies could have fucking cool ass titles.
Yeah.
The one that like the why I thought about it was There Will Be Blood. Like that type of title is like, oh, okay. And then you see and like you said, you see the poster, and it's just like Daniel Day-Lewis just covered in oil, and there's like oil bursts behind him. And you're like, okay.
And that's like Midsummer was that too, with the font and the way they had it, like the way it looked and everything when they first released those. That was one where you looked at the title and the way it was presented. But again, there was a visual element too.
Something like There Will Be Blood though is also like misleading to the movie it is, because, or in the sense of you're just going off a title alone, because like I'm thinking it's going to be a action paced
sounds like a John Wick knockoff. It sounds like that Angelina Jolie movie where she's in the fire.
It's a suspenseful
there was blood, baby.
Everybody's trying to have a pretentious title like that now, like what was the one that she was called, Those Who Wish Me Dead, or what's the Joaquin one where it's like
I was never here.
I was never really here. Something like that. They're all trying to have that now.
Yeah, there was a trend of that, but yeah, titles are weird when you think about it too. But the only trend I want the titles to end is stop making your sequels with just the in front of it.
Go back to numbers, baby. I'm sick of fucking
Candyman. Candyman kind of fucked me up too. Like it's just Candyman. You're like, there's already a Candyman.
That's what I'm saying. Like all it does is it makes you have to have that conversation. Like every time you're like, oh, I saw Candyman, or hey, have you ever seen Candyman? The new one? No, I'm talking about the old one.
Yeah, right now
it just adds that little bit of differentiation you have to do for no reason.
Well, the newest Halloween is more frustrating because it's like, okay, so you're a sequel to the original. At least the Rob Zombie one was a remake, so it's like it's Halloween. I get it, but now to say Halloween 2018.
Yeah.
We've complained.
Tales from the Crypt.
You ready to talk about? Yeah, let's do some Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
All right.
Fucking love this series.
Oh God. Yeah, guys, it was my episode. I picked these two movies. The reason why it's crazy though, when I first did this, I mean, these are movies that I would watch late Saturday night. Tales from the Crypt was like one of the first horror experiences I've ever had. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but like you don't have to rent anything, you have to do anything crazy. It just, if you stayed up till 11 o'clock on Saturday night, you could see it. And then like two of these movies that I watched a lot growing up from the 90s was Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood, and Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. I'm going to start with the weaker one, in my opinion, which is Bordello of Blood. Still a strong, fun horror comedy movie in itself with a really bad lead. But everyone else around him, They're great. It's fun. I also didn't know.
You mean the boobs?
I picked these that they
Some
are
good
technically
boobs.
connected.
Yeah, they're not sequel, not a direct sequel, but they are a shared universe for sure.
With the cross
key, yeah.
Well, are they? Because the poster of the movie is in Bordello of Demon Knight is in Bordello of Blood.
The key, though, I mean, at least a key.
Yeah, the key.
It's obviously not the same one because it gets destroyed. And
that Jacob from
it's probably one of the other keys, but whatever.
I thought Bordello of Blood. I mean, so it was a first watch Bordello of Blood for me.
Me too.
And I thought I had seen it before, but
no. I remember seeing it, and then my mom turning it off because of the boobs.
Because it had a lot of nudity.
Well, I remember the Tales from the Crypt movies because the Crypt Keeper is like very like kid and inviting to like want a kid. He'd be on the cover of these things and be like, "Can I rent these?" And be like, "No," because she knew the show.
Yeah.
Right. The show. I think we should like, if anyone's listening, the show is very much. Tales from the Crypt's a great show. The episodes, for the most part, are bangers after bangers. But it's basically HBO's excuse to be like, hey, we could show some violence and sex around a story, and we have big names coming on each week.
Yeah, they have guest stars, and then they always had like a little kind of like, they were always kind of like set up like little morality tales. They'd have a little twist at the end where somebody would get what's coming to them kind of deal. Or
Bordello of Blood is really interesting because I'm going to jump around here. It's more than Demon Knight. It's more of like an episode of the actual Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah,
the way it does.
That's a fair assessment. Sure.
Its story in the Bordello of Blood. I mean, it's a little more, but let's be real. Dennis Miller should have been a lead of a 45-minute episode of Tales from the Crypt, not their movie.
Yeah, I agree.
What was he doing at the time when they made this? He wasn't on Monday Night Football yet.
He had his show.
Yeah,
he had his HBO show.
He had his HBO show.
I feel like I've seen too much of Dennis recently because I also rewatched Kiss the Girls, and he's like the shitty ex boyfriend of Ashley Judd, and he's literally playing the same fucking thing, but he's a therapist.
Because he doesn't have a character, he can only be Dennis Miller. Like,
I didn't think about it because Tales from the Crypt is an HBO show, and if he's had a corner of the market in HBO with Dennis live show,
I could have something to do with it.
He also I turned to the people I was watching with, and I was like, his character in this movie is the reverse Tom Atkins in Halloween 3 of like how in Halloween 3 like he's just this alcoholic who like instinctually all these women just want to fuck him. In this movie, like it's the same kind of concept, but no one wants to fuck him.
Well, except Angie Everhart, inexplicably. Like
at the end, Jewish and has rare blood.
At the end,
Angie Everhart. Ivan the Terrible comic, right? Mm-hmm. He's descendant of Ivan the Terrible comic.
I get it. I see what you did there.
But Corey Feldman coming in strong in the intro, like it's
how old is he supposed to be?
The movie's also
in his 20s.
Yeah, the movie's also very.
He's in his 40s.
Well, I feel like Corey Feldman's also riffing on being in Lost Boys. He's kind of playing Kiefer in this one.
Yeah, same makeup.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
And you have them just giving up the lead, the woman just
Angie
giving
Everhart.
up. Angie Everhart just looking for her brother.
Oh, you're talking about Erika Eleniak. Sorry.
Yeah.
Angie Everhart's the vampire. She's Lilith.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Erika Eleniak, I said, about to join the Flyover Mount Rushmore. She's popping up a lot.
Mm-hmm. She
had to endure Steven Seagal, and then she endured Dennis Miller.
Yeah, actually, I feel like Dennis Miller worse. I would take Steven Seagal.
Yeah,
she would be doing like QAnon shit right now, though.
That's
her.
Yeah. Oh no! Like her character in this fucking movie, with her like instantly being like, "I'm gonna go bust down the strip club."
Yeah. I love the way she just walks in and gets in that dude's face, and the strip girl's like, "What do you hear? Why do you like this? Because there's naked titty dancers all over the place. Like, what do you think I'm here
I mean, does this movie break the record for boobs on film?
Oh no, I mean, I'm sure not. But it
does for us, 100% for us. Yeah,
it does have a lot of boobs though.
Yeah.
Oh, for the Flyover in general.
Yeah, Flyover.
Yeah, probably.
This one and Toxic Avenger, maybe.
I was saying we did do Boogie Nights on the show too.
Yeah, but
it wasn't so frequent though.
This was like an episode of Tales, like I recently have watched.
Crypt didn't always have nudity, though, right? I mean, it was kind of sparse.
No, it was.
No,
I think the first 2 seasons, I don't remember there being a ton of nudity.
There's a lot of grinding.
Like when they're no. When I just watched the whole series very recently, when they were filming these movies, those later seasons, maybe like 4 to 7, it's every episode or every other episode, there's at least a sex scene with some titty or close to it, right? A lot of people saw Tales from the Crypt episodes, though, in syndication.
It was like they picked it up off of Skinamax, and they were like, "This is gonna be on Skinamax." Thing.
So
I was gonna say, I know I have the first 2 seasons, and I don't think there's much nudity.
The first 2 seasons aren't that bad in the sense of but the later seasons are very much a lot of noir stories, a lot of femme fatales.
Can I mention one thing about this too? This movie. This is like one of those. I don't expect this much from like a low budget TV film, but this one's based in Louisiana, right? The only person that had something sniffing in a Louisiana accent was that Evangelist, whatever the fuck that guy was, the preacher dude.
Oh yeah,
no one else had any.
Televangelist.
You're talking about Chris Sarandon from Princess Bride, Prince Humperdinck.
Yes, Prince Humperdinck.
I was thinking the guy who worked at the mortuary too, the old guy, kind of maybe had a little something going on.
He had a little Creole. Creole going on.
Yeah. Here's my deal with Bordello of Blood, because I think I saw it like around the time it came out, because I like Demon Knight, and then I think I watched again when I had the 2-pack, and then eventually I got rid of the 2-pack and just got the Shout Factory Demon Knight, because I was like, Bordello of Blood. But that was like, when we watch it again, it's always one of those things like, well, I'm going to watch it for the show, I'll give it another chance. And I realized my whole deal with it. First of all, Angie Everhart, terrible actress. I think they ADR'd all her lines either with somebody else's voice or she did them, but like all her lines, like all her dialogue is ADR, and it's really bad. Dennis Miller, not much of a lead, doesn't really bring a lot to it. And I think here's the biggest thing, and I really picked up on it this time. There's a better version of this movie. It's called From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay, thank you. I thought that last night.
To ever watch Bordello of Blood.
It's From Dusk Till Dawn.
From Dusk Till Dawn exists, and it's so much better, and it's basically the same thing.
I will tell you what, though.
So much better.
One of the first kills that Angie Everhart does to Corey Feldman's buddy, where she shoves her tongue.
Oh, the kills are great.
Over for a second, and then
cool.
comes out the chest. That's like, if Dusk Till Dawn did that, like in one scene, I mean, I'm picking fucking...
Yeah, I mean,
like
there's ain't no sex machine in this movie either. So let's keep it on, let's keep it under control.
There's the one guy. I know where you can get the finest pussy.
I feel like that is David Arquette's character from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So we were crossed over into this movie.
I'm seeing Lieutenant Dan the entire time.
Oh, we all had 3 different people. We were calling him Rickety Cricket from It's Always Sunny last night while watching it.
That's good. But I like that, you already mentioned them, like the guy from Princess Bride. He is the original vampire from Fright Night.
Right.
So I like that
they were riffing on some vampire stuff with having him and having Corey Feldman in this. Absolutely.
Peter Vincent. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, the movie is good.
I have a question though.
And it's because of Dennis Miller just like always on the gas pedal. Like I think I already tweeted it or texted you guys. Like, he walks into an empty fucking room with just dead bodies, and he does like 3 or fucking 4 jokes, and you're like, who are you performing for? There's nobody in the room.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna laugh.
This is that thing of like, we'll put a comedian in, and like when we have downtime in the dialogue, he'll just do his.
Well, there's a full scene though where I think he just looks at the camera. I'm not sure. Like, there's like we're here. Like,
he probably read the script and was like, make your face adjust and assume that you're having an inner monologue. He's like, I'm just going to say everything out loud. Fuck it. I'm just going to do it. Don't use your eyes and face expressions.
So I like the things I did like about this. I did like a lot of the kills and the special effects, and I thought there was some fun, just like blood splatter.
There were some practical gore effects, but there was also some really terrible fire effects, like in the big scene where they're taking out all the vampires. I was like, some of it's just like them, like the girls like doing the elevator thing from behind the bar and just like dropping down ground like, ah! and then like a shitty flame comes up.
What might explain that, I was reading like the IMDb trivia of this, and apparently the director directed this movie, directed an episode of Tales from the Crypt. So they said, oh, like here's the show. And Joel Silver was apparently approving his dailies until someone looked at them, and Robert Zemeckis was like, yeah, just told the guy to do what he wanted, and I'm trusting Joel. And Joel was like, and they looked at all the dailies of this director's shot, and they're like, this is awful. But yeah, I want to bring up like one kind of story moment to ask a question about. The ending.
The third nipple? Are you gonna talk about
the third nipple was fun.
I watched Mallrats this week too, so I've seen a lot of third nipples.
It's very Mallrats. Same little like kind of just like a gummy.
Can I admit something embarrassing while we're talking about Mallrats?
Sure.
I didn't know we were gonna talk about Mallrats.
I just this week realized that Brody and T.S. Quint are named after the Jaws guy. Like, obviously I knew Kevin Smith like Jaws. There's a whole scene in Chasing Amy. But, like, I literally was just driving along and was like, huh, that's weird. What? And I was like, oh, man, I'm real dumb. I've been watching that movie for a long time.
You wouldn't make it in Schmoedown. What was your point, Joe?
So, the ending of this movie, right, where this is very Tales from the Crypt. This is the most Tales from the Crypt thing.
This is the only thing it has over Demon Knight is that it has the classic Tales from the Crypt ending.
Where she's really a vampire. Right. But what I want to ask is, was she always a vampire when Angie Everhart... When Angie Everhart was like, remember the scene though where she was about to like, she was like, I don't like.
She's gonna bite her. She bites her on the thigh there. That's where she does it. And then later he checks her neck and it's clear. But she's already a vampire.
But that scene though before the bite though is she stops for a while and there's a very like, oh, like there's something there. Like if she has like a dick or something, right? That's what I assumed the joke was. It wasn't, but like that was like the reaction though they all had in that room when they went to her.
All I know is like it was very weird that Corey was like, yeah.
He was real horny for his sister, wasn't he? He wanted to see her get banged.
He's like, yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
he definitely would have. Had it gone to that, he would have jumped in. He's a creep for sure.
Yeah. But no, I do love that ending. I think that's so classic. The show.
Yeah.
Do we want to rate individual or group or in the end?
Let's rate individual.
At the end, we'll rate them both.
Okay. So let's move on to Demon.
DJ, introduce Demon Knight for us.
Tales of the Crypt, Demon Knight. Yeah. The movie is really good. It stars William Sadler, Billy Zane. Dick Miller shows up. Jada Pinkett-Smith. Well, she's Jada Pinkett at this time. She's not Smith yet.
Sans the hyphen, yeah.
This was the horror movie for me.
Fleischer?
Yeah. Not only like Tales from the Crypt, but horror movie in general that I was obsessed with growing up. Demon Knight was one of those ones because it was fun, violent. You did see a little bit of Turtles.
They're better in this movie, actually.
And it was done classier, you know. It was done a little classier. It had like a real plot element to it, you know.
It had a Gone Girl opening sequence.
Yeah, right.
I like this one has like the Crypt Keeper bookends on this one are much better. In Demon Knight.
When he comes, I didn't even realize. Is this the one where it starts where he's directing the dude from Night Court?
Yes, John Arquette. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like they have him walking on the camera and talking, but you don't realize. I didn't realize as a kid that it was actually computered like that.
Yeah, it's like a CGI kind of like or stop
motion. Then they switch into an actual like puppet and stuff like that.
When they switch to the puppet, that's when you go like, ooh. That effect was bad. But the puppet itself is so good.
And the rest of the effects in this movie are really good too. There's not really a lot that doesn't hold up too well.
Well, Robert Zemeckis wasn't going to put his name on a product that didn't have some new effect he could add. And Richard.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about the pedigree of the Tales from the Crypt show that then bled into the movie. But it was kind of like a pet project of some big names.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Whoopi Goldberg is supposed to be Whoopi Goldberg in this movie.
In Bordello, you mean?
No, that's in Demon Knight.
No, it's Bordello.
Shit.
Demon Knight would never have something that shitty in it.
He was like, I told y'all to keep it down.
You're
I should have got in the private room. And I was like,
so that was supposed to be Whoopi, though.
You had a choice. They just were like, and then you chose to not have a private room. That doesn't make any sense.
That's like the Little Rascals cameo. It's like, that's my mom. He's like, Whoopi. Like, oh, okay, that's good.
That's better. That's a better cameo.
But this one is like, it has an ensemble cast that all has their moments. They all come in strong. Like, do you guys have a favorite out of all of them?
Oh, Thomas Haden Church as Roach,
yeah, well,
of course.
Yeah.
He's such a piece of shit. He's hilarious.
I love how they used, at that time, you can talk about him, Brian, you shouted him out earlier, from Zodiac, but the disgruntled postman.
Yeah, Charles Fleischer, the voice of Roger Rabbit.
He's like, oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, all right, well, there you go. I had no idea that was a thing. But like him with like talking to Cordelia,
Cordelia, yeah.
Yeah, like that type of thing. And he's like, you should go begging for your job
Get that
back.
pussy off the table.
Yeah. I'm talking to
Get that pussy at the table.
Oh, she's
my favorite
character, killing it in this movie too. Yeah. She's amazing.
CACH.
When she puts up the stump.
Yeah.
And she's like,
that's great.
Me giving you the finger, asshole. So good. And then she has that Velasquez in Aliens moment where she blows herself up, but like she gets the hero shot of like pulling the pin on all those, and they do the slow motion, that's so badass. That's one of my favorite moments.
This movie is far better than.
Oh my god, this movie made my top 10 when I did my favorite horror movies for Bunker.
This movie is a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna watch this movie in a couple weeks.
Introduced Filter's "Hey Man, Nice Shot" to me, which that song rips.
And you can see Billy just eating the fuck out of that role too. Like we haven't mentioned him. Like Billy is having so much fun.
This came out pretty close after Titanic too, so like he was riding fairly high, I think, when this came out.
This would be pre-Titanic, probably.
Is this before Titanic? What year did this come out?
They might have shot it before.
This is 95.
After?
Is it 95? Okay, all right.
Titanic's
after Titanic, so this was probably already shot. It hadn't been released yet.
This is 94. Demon Knight's 94.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
But I was gonna say,
Bordello's 6.
I think I responded to Brian last night, but like something about this has me like when he does the whole like jumps out of the window after he kills the one cop, he gets
One Punch Man. He
jumps out the window and he's like, "This fucking cowboy hat, hee haw hoo ha," like that. I'm like,
full Michael Keaton there yet, motherfucker.
Yeah, full Michael Keaton Beetlejuice, and like just every time he's like, even when they have those scenes where he somehow like Cordelia and Jada. You know, when he brings the woman her arm on a platter and like the whole thing, like every time he disappears for like maybe a half an hour essentially, and it comes back and like those
those dream sequences.
Yeah.
Oh, but I mean, it's 100%. He steals the movie. He's so
pretty
good.
He's pretty good in this
everybody is really good in this. To be fair, I love the idea of Bill Sadler in kind of a lead. That's kind of cool.
Where did you guys meet him?
The mythology of this movie is a lot of fun too. Actually, I think the mythology is cool and interesting. Yeah. It's kind of like a better version of Dracula 2000. You guys remember Dracula 2000?
I never watched it.
Where they tried to tie they tried to tie in the reason that like vampires were like spawned from Judas, and it all came from the betrayal of Christ and stuff.
Wait,
it's like a better version of that.
Can you time out with that? I literally was asking last night. Why have we never got an explanation why like vampires are tied to a religious iconography?
Yeah, this movie does it.
Yeah, no,
it's not. I mean, it's a bad movie, but it's kind of an entertainment. I don't want to talk about Dracula 2000 too much, but it's got Gerard Butler as Dracula. It's worth watching just for that.
It's just weird you mention it because I literally just asked the question because I've never
go check it out, man.
Well, so even with this one, one of my favorite parts in this is the demons, like. All of them in the different ways they look. You can nitpick them if you want. There are certain things I'm like, what are you doing there? What's that?
They were coming out of the ground. And
that very Hellraiser-y birth scene where they're kind of like growing up out of little piles of the little pools of
nail.
Yeah, with his coke nail. Yeah,
yeah. But like, did that every time he comes on scene, eats it up. But even like again with this. This is like one of those things where every character has their moments, small or big, when just that cop, he knows what he's doing when he's going to look for the key the first time, and hears Cordelia and Thomas Haden Church in the room, but he knows it's happening, but he just like kicks in the door anyway. I'm like, God, Bart. He's like, you guys close on downstairs. Like, turn this nipple thing off.
My nipple. It was more like a tune-up and a lube job.
You're nipply.
Shut up, Bart.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's another thing we can talk about with this movie. Talking about how everybody gets their moment. Mm-hmm. Those moments, they clip. This movie is like, we talk about how tight a good tight horror movie Child's Play 2 is. I would rank this one right up there. Like, this movie moves. It's on to the next one, on to the next scene. Everything just, like, the perpetual motion of this movie is very good.
For me, like, seeing as a kid, I thought, like, a lot of when they find the underground cavern where they find Danny with his parents, I was like, oh, this movie's done like 10 minutes. I looked at the thing, I was like, we still have like a half hour, 30 minutes left. Yeah.
This is a rare time there's just actors and actresses you don't really like. You know, there's a few. Yeah. This is a rare time where I'm like, oh, she's killing it. It's Jada Pinkett. I usually don't like Jada Pinkett. Racist. Yeah, it has nothing to do with that. I just don't.
Well, she hasn't made a lot of movies that I was that interested in.
That could be more of it.
The type of movies she makes just aren't what I usually watch. She does kill it in this. She's great.
I did like in The Matrix. I never really was like, you're not bringing it.
I like how she was covered in blood in her panties. Billy throws her in the shower, and they turn out crisp white.
Yeah, they're back to being white. I thought about that
the whole time. She's like this,
crisp white. Like he never questioned. Hey, why are you talking? What's in your mouth?
There's no way you'd be able to hold blood in your mouth that long. She's without swallowing a little bit. She swallowed a little bit.
Yeah, she's half. No, it's the blood of the soldier, right? It's not the blood of the person.
No, actually, a lot of that was Bill Sadler's blood. She goes back for a refill after she finishes off Billy Zane. So she had already filled it with William Sadler's blood, and then that's what she covers herself in, and then that's what she ends up spitting in Billy Zane's face. And then she goes back for a refill.
That death was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought, like I said, this is a big one for me as one of my faves. I think it clips right.
Can we talk about the guacamole scene, because that's the worst scene in the entire movie.
Where they're talking about cleaning the sheets. Now, do you think that we're talking about guacamole made her scat play too messy, or are we talking about actual guacamole?
No, when he's eating guacamole and he throws ketchup on it and just keeps eating it, and I was like, what the fuck?
I thought you were talking about the scene where they couldn't get the stains out of Cordelia's sheets.
Oh, that's hilarious.
She goes, damn guacamole. Maybe I watched too much Golden Girls, but Cordelia had a real Blanche Devereaux vibe to her. That,
100%.
Southern sex pot kind of thing going.
100%. Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah, I mean, I agree that this is like far better, and it's not only because there's no Dennis Miller. It felt more.
No, this one has so much more.
No, this is just a stronger movie,
and it had a lot of better.
This one does feel, though. We talked a little bit about how it doesn't have that twist ending, that kind of signature, and that kind of makes me feel like maybe this wasn't originally a Tales from the Crypt script.
It wasn't. It was a movie that was floated around Hollywood for years, and Zemeckis or whatever was like, this, we like this script so much, we can make it Tales from the Crypt, because Tales from the Crypt were always around the morality play of it all, and this isn't.
Well, we didn't talk about.
This doesn't have any of that.
No. But I do like the story of this movie a lot. Like I said, I really like the lore, and it's really fun and interesting. And they don't do too much. They don't overdo it. They show us the guy getting the original blood from Jesus, and then they show kind of William Sadler getting, but they don't make a point to show it here's somebody in the Crusades who was the Dark Demon Knight, and here's somebody here, which honestly to me opens it up to have a sequel where you do show some of that shit.
Yeah. I think there's sequels.
No.
And there's other movies that are named Demon Knight then.
Oh yeah. So because there's other Bordello of Bloods, right?
Yeah.
No.
Is that an Argento movie?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Let's go into the ratings, man.
Ratings phase.
TJ.
Oh, okay. Let's start this off. So Bordello of Blood. Again, when I picked this, I didn't realize they were somewhat kind of connected in a way, or they just used the same prop twice. Whatever the reason being. Bordello of Blood for me is probably like a nice 5.8 out of 10. It's fun. It has like enough goofy kills that you can put these, and it's short enough where you can put both these movies on in one day and have a trip for about 3 hours. Now, when it comes to Demon Knight, this one holds a special place in my heart. So I'm going to go nice. I didn't do fucking anything. Oh, fuck Bordello of Blood. 8.2 grenades around one of the best characters ever. I didn't want to say what I wanted to say, but yeah, Kat. 8.2.
Joe.
All right,
Joe.
so we're Demon Knight. Yeah, sorry, I cut out there for a second.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe.
All right,
Joe.
so I will
point,
give this. I think I'm right there with you. 7.8. Fucking CCH pounders, stump arms. I you know what? Bump up to even 8. I'll just give it that respect. I think it's a really nice representation of Tales.
Bordello.
Bordello. I think I'm gonna be a little higher than everyone else here because I do really love the practical of it, but it's still low. I think it's like a 4.3.
Oh wow! Well, I said 5.8.
Yeah.
Oh, you said 5.8? Oh no, I think it's a 4. I think it's like it's watchable. Like I think I'll watch it again, but it's bad.
I don't pick movies that are less than 5, Joe.
Only movies that are less than 5.
Yeah, I'll give Bordello probably like a 4.
Nice.
4 conservative jokes from Dennis Miller.
Thank you. Finally.
Yeah. I don't know. It was fine.
4, 3 nipples.
It just didn't have enough supporting players around.
Yeah.
To circumvent the Dennis Miller of it all. And Demon Knight, yeah, it was fun. Honestly, it was just a blast. Everybody just fit their roles. I'm gonna give it a 7 guacamole stains out of 10. Fully recommend.
Brian, before you begin, I do have 2 things to say about both movies. That's like a fun fact.
So 4 things?
Billy Zane, it's his favorite movie he's ever done.
Oh,
nice.
Demon Knight.
He gets to go nuts. I believe it because he really gets to cut loose in it.
And Dennis Miller is probably his least favorite thing he's ever done, or mixed feelings as
most embarrassed of.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was funny of the 2 opposites, 2 different leads. Like one being like, I don't know, I have mixed feelings as one. I got a super soak.
Yeah.
Some naked strippers there, but the other it's then Billy Zane being like,
more naked strippers to super soak than a relief map of Turkmenistan, babe.
Wait, sorry, I just remembered.
I don't know if that even makes any sense.
That was not a bad. That was not a bad.
That wasn't bad. Yeah,
that was a Dennis Miller joke.
All right, so for Bordello of Blood, like I said, this is like my revisit of a revisit, and like to reaffirm how I've always felt. This is just an inferior product to me. It's whatever. It's probably a very popular movie for young teens to jacket to, but I didn't need that by the time this movie came out.
Did you say jacket to? How old are you?
Jacket, right?
God damn it!
I will be doing it later.
What is it? Whack it? But then, so I would probably, I'm right there with everybody else. Like, this is like a 4. It's fine. It's watchable. It's not. But like, if you had the option, why wouldn't you just watch something better, like From Dusk Till Dawn? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you just throw on a much better version of the same kind of premise?
Or put them together. Have a fun vampire.
Yeah, why not?
It'll actually be a fun double feature.
But, I mean, Angie Everhart's really bad in this. They really took a shot on her. They were like, here's your big, okay, we're going to go for it. And it was...
Great Playboy, though.
Wait, you know why she got the role, right?
Well,
because she was Sylvester Stallone's girlfriend at the time.
I mean, I knew she was like, this was like when she was at her peak of being famous for being hot or whatever.
Yeah, no, she was, Sly was friends with one of the producers, and that's how
maybe time to give her a role. Maybe she could try out. Look at her. She got to see the star.
Yeah, so that's...
All right. Demon Knight. again, this falls into that category of movie that I'm like unable to be objective about. It's one of my faves. I just fucking love it. I've watched it so many times. I could watch it again. I could put it on tonight and watch it right now after we finish here. So I'll give it like 9 sponges flopping out of Billy Zane's mouth.
That's one of the he's like.
And that sponge comes out. I love it because it's one of those things that's clearly just a practical effect. He literally just had a sponge shoved in his mouth, but it just works so perfectly.
Isn't that GIF used a lot?
Yeah,
I would say so.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, you're up next. What are we watching?
No games, no guessing. Yep. Everybody even knows. We talked about it because I found out that Joe hasn't watched a movie, and I mean, I know I've already done a bunker on it, but it was audio bunkers, and I don't think those ever got the traction that the episodes on YouTube got. So I think it's time for the Flyboys to enjoy one of probably my favorite post-'89 Batman pre-MCU comic book movie, The Crow. Brandon Lee's
Can't wait.
pinnacle magnum opus, unfortunately by default, but Showdown in Little Tokyo, but The Crow is where it's at. So that's what we're watching for next week.
I almost picked that one, Showdown in Little Tokyo, because I've never seen it. I was like, I want to watch this movie.
It's got a weird subplot where Brandon Lee's kind of obsessed with how big Dolph Lundgren's dick is.
Yeah, so. That's what I read.
That's a a subtopic for us next week.
Where can the people find you?
You could find me on this channel doing Flower State of Fear and on Twitter at Chendangle1.
So scared.
Yeah.
Brian.
You can find me on here doing this show. Maybe Joe will have me back for Flower State of Fear, mostly just on Twitter, complaining about things that other people like and generally being unpleasant to be around at Herskilles.
That's a great follow. TJ.
Guys, it doesn't have to rain all the time, but you guys find me at TJ Dex on Twitter, probably talking about the new Spider-Man, how great it's going to be. Other than that, you guys are on Flyover Film YouTube right now. Also, check me out on Gamer Grudge, the most latest episode of Gamer Grudge. Guys, I dominated.
It's very watchable.
Came out undefeated. They might have lost a round, but we all know what happened.
It's watchable in that way that people enjoy The Room, take it in as an experience,
And shout out and look forward to the next episode where all 4 of us go against each other in a fight.
Bye.
Bye.